Welcome to NBA Now by Chat Sports. I am Nic Rohloff, where we have a loaded show here on a Tuesday morning. Joel Embiid, he is shutting it down. What does it mean for his future in the Philadelphia 76ers? Giannis Antetokounmpo, is he eyeing an exit from the Milwaukee Bucks? Plus, we'll finish out with Naz Reid as he might be set to hit NBA free agency. We'll start with Embiid as the headliner because over the weekend, Shams Charania reported that the 76ers and Embiid are consulting doctors and considering alternative options on his injured knee. Sides have hoped for progress in Embiid's body, but his efforts to play and current treatments, including injections, have not provided any improvement. And unfortunately, if you're a Joel Embiid fan or just someone who enjoys him being healthy and active in the NBA, well, you're not going to see much of that. I think Joel Embiid is absolutely cooked. The once MVP, perennial top 3, top 5 player in the NBA, his body, which has plagued him from the start of his career since he was a top pick out of Kansas from the 76ers, is just continuing to break down what feels like day after day after day, to the point to where he cannot be relied on to be a consistent top 3 player on your team, in my opinion. Now, your opinion may differ, but because of how inconsistent he is on the basketball court of actually being available, I would not trust him to be a top 3 option no more, and that's where the 76ers may have made a fatal mistake, which we will describe here in just a second. But I want to make sure you're following us, that is Chat Sports, on social media, specifically X. At Chat Sports is our handle. We are posting nonstop content, whether it's NFL, NBA, team-based content as well. We have over 14,000 followers. If you want the best coverage outside of YouTube videos on social media, Chat Sports is the handle to go follow. But as you look at Joel Embiid's last 4 seasons, there has been a strict decline. When he is able to play, he is still relatively good. Now, when you watch him actually play this season, you can tell that his burst, his athleticism, his quick movements are limited in comparison to his past couple of seasons. But in 23-24, he only played 39 games. This season, he's only been able to suit up for 17 games and is set to miss another extended period of time. It is just the same old story with Joel Embiid. And it's like running into a brick wall consistently. What's the definition of insanity, people? Oh, yeah, doing the same thing over and over and over again, expecting different results. That's what it feels like in terms of trusting Joel Embiid to be a top 2 option on your basketball team. But the question is, how is Philly going to move forward with this situation? Are they going to blow it up? To me, Philadelphia has to give it up with Embiid. They got to stop relying on him to be a top 2, top 3 player on their franchise, on their organization. They need to move forward building around Tyrese Maxey as their sole number 1 guy. The one problem is that they went all in for this next 2-year window because they had millions of dollars in cap space this last offseason, and they unfortunately signed a guy that has been a major disappointment in Paul George and gave Joel Embiid a contract extension, which they did not need to do. Embiid had 1 year left on his contract. That 25-26 season was not part of the new extension. The new extension starts in 26-27. So the fact that Daryl Morey in this front office gave him an extension coming into this season is an absolute joke and a massive mistake. But when you're allotting $50+ million to Paul George, who have not scored 20 points in what feels like a month and a half, and then Joel Embiid, who can't stay on the floor, he's under contract guaranteed for the next 3 seasons, making $60 and $64 million, and then as a $69 million player option in 28-29. Philly is absolutely screwed. Like, how are they supposed to build around Tyrese Maxey when they've got that much of their cap space going to 2 players that are declining and can't stay on the basketball court? I am stunned that Paul George has taken the step back that he has. I am not as shocked with Embiid's body breaking down the way it has, because we could have seen that one coming, but we didn't expect it to happen as rapid as it has. But that front office giving Embiid that contract extension absolutely screwed Philadelphia. Their pick this year is going to OKC unless it's in the top 6. It's top 6 protected. So maybe they get a pick in this draft to help build young talent around Maxey. But if they don't and they're picking 7, 8, 9 and it goes to OKC, how is Philly going to help this roster going forward? Because they don't have any cap space. Who on earth would ever trade for Embiid or Paul George based off what they're making, the length on their contracts, and how poorly they have played? Philly is in a horrific, horrific spot. And I want to know your thoughts. It's pretty clear how I feel on the future of Philadelphia 76ers basketball, but how screwed are the 76ers in your opinion? Scale it 1 to 10 for me down in the comment section. I'm at a full 10, but let me know your thoughts down below. All right, let's transition over to Giannis Antetokounmpo because ESPN Insider Shams Charania suggested on ESPN First Take earlier this week that Giannis Antetokounmpo wants to stay in Milwaukee, but if he does not see long-term success building for this franchise, he could look elsewhere in terms of requesting a trade or maybe in free agency. And if you're asking me, I think this could get dicey for the Milwaukee Bucks. They were first-round exits last season in the first year with Damian Lillard losing to the Indiana Pacers in that first round. And Milwaukee has not had the unbelievable success that you would have anticipated them to have in the regular season. Whether it's Doc Rivers, whether it's consistent injuries, the aging roster, there is a pathway here to where I think Giannis could ask out and look elsewhere to move off of the Milwaukee Bucks, which we'll talk about here in just a second. But I got to show some love to our sponsor on today's show, and that is Prize Picks, my favorite daily fantasy sports platform and app that I play every single day. It's so easy. You just pick more or less on 2 players, or more than 2 players, I should say, for more chance to win up to 1,000 times your cash. Prize Picks is the best place to get in on the real money action with over 10 million users playing right now. PrizePicks puts their members first, so all withdrawals are fast, safe, and secure. When my picks hit, I can get my money in as quick as 15 minutes. They also offer weekly promotions that can lead to payouts like today, Taco Tuesday. Each Tuesday, PrizePicks discounts select player projections up to 25% to provide even more value for your lineups. Thinks Giannis going to have more than 35 points, Steph Curry more than 5 3-pointers, cook up your hot takes with your friends and win real money. You can play daily. You can play season long. I truly like the way you can customize the way you play on Prize Picks. For example, I'm looking away from the daily sports. I'm looking season long here on baseball. More than on Tarek Skubal and Paul Skeens strikeouts, and more than on Jaron Duran home runs. Just one example of how you can play different sports season long, daily, combined players. It's all fun and games. So download the app today. Use code CLNS to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. One more time, download the app today. Use code CLNS to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks. Run your game. All right, let's get back to talking about the Bucks and Giannis because as currently filming, I want to make this clear that we are filming this on Monday afternoon. I know this is going out Tuesday morning. The Eastern Conference standings look like this. The Bucks currently are the 5 seed. Yeah, they've won 3 games straight coming out of the All-Star break with Giannis being on a minutes restriction. They defeated the Wizards. They defeated the Miami Heat. The Bucks have looked solid. But when you look at the rest of the Eastern Conference, I don't think that they are anything more than second-round exits for the next 2 to 3 seasons at best. Why do I say that? Well, this season, do I think they're going to beat the Cleveland Cavaliers in a 7-game series? No, I do not. Do I think they're going to beat the Boston Celtics in a 7-game series? No, I do not. Even though the Knicks have really struggled, do I think the Bucks can beat the Knicks? No, I do not. I think it's a toss-up between the Indiana Pacers and the Bucks. The Pacers beat them last year in the postseason, and since I think the last 30 games of the season, the Pacers are 22-8. They're in the same tier in terms of record in the last 30 games as the Thunder and Cavs, who have the 2 best records in their respective conferences. So the Pacers are playing incredibly well. And when you think about this roster, Brook Lopez, aging. Bobby Portis, suspended, aging. Kyle Kuzma, is he a needle mover next to Giannis? Probably not. Damian Lillard, aging. Like, if you look to the future of this team, it's a bunch of old veterans. They have a they have a window to win now. Now. And if they can't do it and they can't beat these other teams, then are they going to do it in the next 2 to 3 seasons? Probably not, which leads me to believe Giannis may be on the way out. So where could Giannis Antetokounmpo go? I think the 5 likely destinations for Giannis, one is the New York Knicks because they could offer a combination of picks, Karl-Anthony Towns, maybe even Mikal Bridges to pair up Giannis, Jalen Brunson, Josh Hart, OG Anunoby, and have a crew there, which is very interesting. The Brooklyn Nets, yeah, it doesn't make sense basketball-wise, but if it's a trade and Milwaukee takes the best package, the Nets have a gazillion picks to offer. The Heat always have been linked to Giannis. Maybe they would pony up a Tyler Hero to get Giannis and Bam paired up together, or maybe they would trade Bam to get Tyler Hero and Giannis paired up together. Who knows? The Lakers, I just put them on here because after they got Luka, who the hell knows what could happen. And with LeBron James retiring in the next 2 to 3 seasons, maybe they try to get Luka and Giannis together. And then the Houston Rockets, they have a boatload of assets, young players, draft capital. They could swing big to try to add Giannis to their young core next to Elfrid Şengün and some of those guys in the backcourt. Those are the 5 most likely destinations, in my opinion, on Giannis Antetokounmpo. And make sure you are subscribed to the channel because we put out daily content, not only on social media, but on YouTube as well. NBA, NFL, college football. Subscribe now. Join the channel for the best coverage around the sports world on YouTube. All right, we're going to close out the show with Naz Reid. Is he going to test NBA free agency? The free agent market isn't going to be that good this upcoming July, but Naz Reid might be one of the top guys available. And Jake Fischer of Yahoo Sports said that Reid, who is the league's reigning 6th man of the year for a few more months, possesses a $15 million player option for this upcoming season in 25-26, that many of those same strategists expect he'll decline in search of a richer arrangement in the summer. And this should not surprise anybody. Naz Reid is one of the most valued players inside the NBA. This is a former big man at LSU, has really transitioned into the modern NBA, a floor-spacing big man that can handle the ball. He can play make, he can defend 3 through 5, and he's become an elite three-point shooter over the past 2 seasons at 41% and 40%. You heard Fisher mention it. He won 6th man of the year last season, playing in all but one game, averaging 13.5 points. He's one of the biggest players in that Minnesota Timberwolves rotation, and he's continuing to show it this season as well. When you think about this free agent market, a lot of players will not be available. Brandon Ingram signed long-term. Julius Randle has a player option. But then you start to already get into the Naz Reids of the world as the next type of guys that would be in line for the largest contracts. I don't know what Reid can make. $15 million player option this year. I would have to imagine he is going to get $20 million per season at minimum. Maybe a 4-year, $80 million contract, maybe 4 for 25, where he gets paid $100 million in total. I feel like that is a good range for Naz Reid, which is obviously $5-10 million more than his $15 million player option and more guaranteed money spaced over a longer time. It's pretty much guaranteed, as Jake Fischer mentioned, but I would have to use common sense as well to agree with that, is that Naz Reid is going to be a free agent this upcoming summer. So let me know what team should sign Naz Reid in free agency. I think almost any team could use his services. I mean, you can't help but want a 6'10", 6'11", 4'5", that can guard 3 through 5, space the floor, can play, make, rebound, do it all. I like Naz Reid. Let me know what team should go and pursue him in free agency. I will say this, I think it's going to be pretty hard-pressed for Minnesota to keep Naz Reid because they do not have a lot of money financially. It's part of the reason why they traded Karl-Anthony Towns this past offseason. Despite what many thought about it being a basketball fit, it was mostly financial. They had the most money allotted for the next 3 seasons. They were in the second apron before that cat trade for the 25-26 season, and they were way into the second apron for the 24-25 season. And right now, since they did move off of cat's salary, they are still in the luxury tax for next season, but they are $3.1 million shy of the first apron, so they really can't sign anyone without going into the first apron again. Now, they do have bird rights, obviously, on Naz Reid, which would allow them to go deep into the apron to keep him in Minnesota. But to sign him to $25 million per season, yeah, I doubt they do that. Is he worth going deep into the second apron once again? Probably not, which means I think Minnesota is going to lose Naz Reid, and he's going to sign somewhere in free agency on a big contract. All right, I'll do it for today's video. Like I said off the top, make sure you follow us on Twitter. @ChatSports is our handle. You'll see my face. You'll see everybody's face here at the Chat Sports team, breaking down NBA, NFL, college football, MLB content. So follow us here to get the best coverage of the sports world.